Hi, I am Sarah Grandy. This is my research, my critical assignment for 473 research in kinesiology presentation. I've titled this presentation Muscular Hypertrophy because my research question is entirely too long to be a title. So with that being said, my research question is actually, which is more beneficial for muscular hypertrophy, high weight, low reps, or low weight, high reps? It was quite fun and interesting to do this research, so we will continue. Well, if I can get it to work. There we go. Alright, so my intro. The purpose of this research study is to determine which weight training program is more beneficial for muscular hypertrophy. So we went with two different programs. I have a group 1 and a group 2, and we'll get to that later on in this presentation. The recommended weight to be used during an exercise is commonly based on the subject's 1 repetition max, so a 1 RM. So for my group 1, they did 4 to 6 repetitions at 75% of their 1 rep max, and for group 2, they did 14 to 16 repetitions at 25% of their 1 rep max. And again, we'll get more into it the further we go into this presentation. Also, I'm going to apologize in advance. My daughter refuses to lay down for a nap, so you may hear her in the background. An examination of these 2 weight training programs will be used to determine the effects of those programs on muscular hypertrophy. So again, I had two different groups, a 6-week program. I've already went over the repetitions with you, and then we'll go over the methods and whatnot later. So issues and further research into muscular hypertrophy. So when a person first starts working out or like quote unquote wanting to get bigger, there's a lot of confusion and unanswered questions. They just go into the gym and pick up a weight and assume this is it. I'm going to lift a lot of weight and I'm just going to get bigger. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it. Different muscle fibers, nutrition, things like that. So this research helped answer questions as in which is better, high weight, low reps, or low weight, high reps. And then, of course, always injury prevention when dealing with lifting weights. That should be a number 1 concern, is injury prevention, and this will also help clients and subjects understand, because in my research I did post that I would do a safety briefing every week. Alright, so problem statement. So there you can see is my research question. Are higher repetition, lower weight, or lower repetition, higher weight more beneficial to muscular hypertrophy? And then my hypothesis, of course, with this research, unfortunately, we couldn't actually do, deal with subjects and whatnot. So I wanted, and I feel, and my research showed that high weight, lower repetitions resulted in a greater muscular hypertrophy. All right, so here's my methods. My participants had 20 females, 18 to 45 years old, and they all had similar and equal abilities. I also had written procedures, rules, safety procedures written out for them to sign and agree on. Then my procedure was a 6-week program, and measurements were taken at weeks 1, 3, and 6. There would be 3 measurements of the bicep, and an average would be taken. And then the instrument I would use would just be your, everyday measuring tape. But again, it would be 3 different measurements with 1 average to make it more valid and reliable. Alright, and continuing on with methods. So I don't know about you, but the statistical analysis was really hard for me. It was very confusing, and I should have reached out to Dr. Denny much sooner than I did. But after watching the YouTube video that she provided for us and several emails later, I think I got the hang of it. So I decided to do a paired t-test. I set my alpha level at 0.05. When I looked it up in the book, it was the most common. It was already set on, like it was in the pre-settings. And so group 1 started out with a mean of 9.3 and a standard deviation of 1.09, and it ended with a mean of 10 and the standard deviation of 1.43. So in those numbers alone, you can see the significant difference in group 1 and group 2. And then my P level was, of course, below my alpha level, which showed that there was a significant difference. And then group 2 started with a mean of 9.1 and a standard deviation of 0.57. And it ended with a mean of 9.75 and standard deviation of 0.59. And then you can see there wasn't a huge change in my group 2, which was, if I haven't already made this clear, I apologize. Group 1 was my high weight, low repetition, 4 to 6 reps, 75% of their 1 rep max. And group 2 was the high repetition, low weight. So it was 14 to 16 reps at 25%. And then my P level was a 6.72, which showed, which meant that there was not a significant difference between the start and the end of the 6-week program in the bicep measurements in group 2. All right, and for my discussion, so my findings, the study's key findings that indicated that high weight, low repetition weight training programs are more effective than low weight, high repetition training programs at increasing muscular hypertrophy. And I showed you that in the statistical analysis. And in the future, for my future research, what I would do is I would have a smaller subject age range. I would stay consistent with height and weight, because in my research, the height and the weight were significantly different. And the age was too. 18 to 45 is a huge window. And then the weekly safety briefings I would do. I think that's just, I was in the military, and I think that's just a military thing, is you always have to have your safety briefings just to cover everyone, just to reiterate, safety procedures on form and, proper form and things like that. And then, of course, staying in touch. So weightlifting can also take an emotional toll. You want to see changes, you want to see results, but it takes a lot longer for some people than they want. So staying in touch and staying personal. Of course, you don't want to cross a line or anything, but keeping it personal and encouraging during this program would have been very important to me if I were to actually conduct this research and have physical subjects. Because again, weightlifting can take an emotional toll on someone, and staying in touch with them and encouraging them could just be the turnaround from I'm not going to lift today to okay, I got a pretty cool message from my coach, I'm going to go lift, And then in conclusion, there was a significant increase in the bicep muscle size in group 1, the high weight, low repetition weight program, which I've said several times in this PowerPoint. So that concludes my research. I hope that it helped someone, even though obviously it was sham results, but it was still a great time and interesting to do this. So if you have questions, just post them in the discussion board, and I will do everything I can to look up the proper answer for you, whether it be in the book or scholarly articles or whatnot. But I will do my best to help you guys out. Thank you so much.